So I've run into a little bit of a problem with connecting the flex plate to the torque converter. If you notice here, I hope you can see it on the video, and I'll zoom in a little closer. I've got the screw in, it lines up pretty well, but if you notice around the edge of it, there's a gap. So I compared the size of the hole in the flex plate with the original one that was on there, and I find that the hole in the original flex plate is a little bit smaller than the hole in this flex plate. So apparently what I need is some sort of a bolt that has a shoulder on it similar to this, because I don't want, even if I tighten that down, I don't want the ability for that to move like this, because over time, if it's not tight enough, it will loosen and make that a groove instead of a hole, and that won't be a good thing. You're asking for a failure of the bolts for sure. So I've got to go, I guess, check Summit Racing, where I bought the flex plate, and see if they carry a bolt that has a shoulder in it that will fit the holes in that flex plate, because the bolts that I got with the transmission, no shoulder on them. That being the case, I'm going to stop putting anything else on concerning the transmission, just in case I have to move it back to replace this flex plate. I don't want to have to disconnect things I've already connected. So I will see what else it is I can work on in the meantime, and give that a little thought, and then I'll be back with a different video. So to resolve the flex plate to the flywheel, or I'm sorry, to the torque converter, I made some little spacers. What I did is I took some washers that were the right thickness, I put them on a bolt, chucked the bolt into my drill press, and spun it while I ground on the outside. So I have got one of these bolts already started in the flywheel there. Okay, I'm missing a bolt. Don't drop that spacer. I know it's around here somewhere. Oh, there it is, right there. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a little bit of thread locker and putting it on there and putting it in, lining up this little spacer with the hole, and then tightening it down. So there's the bolt. This being a modern transmission, these bolts are metric. So they happen to be 15. Probably should have put a ratchet up there. I think there's room for it. Before I lock this down all the way, I have the second bolt visible. I'm going to get a socket. So one of the things that was causing me to have a panic attack here yesterday, and today actually, on the flex plate, there's 6 places where you put bolts. You only use 3 of them. But what I found out yesterday is I thought it wasn't going to line up. It turns out that 3 of them are lined up one way and 3 of them are lined up another way. So, looks like before I can do this one easily, that hole is behind the oil filter. So I'm going to turn the engine a little bit and put the next one in. You know what, before I do that, I'm gonna get me a bigger socket or bigger ratchet and tighten that better. On the one I just put in. Actually not going to get a different ratchet, I'm just going to get a bar that'll give me a little more leverage on it so that I can tighten it better. I'll shut this off while I do the other one. Okay, now I'll turn the engine over a little bit. Because I put the distributor in already, I'm not screwing up my top dead center because the distributor's already there, or it's been set for there. So now that hole is where I can hit it. A little bit of thread locker on the bolt. See if I can get in here without getting my head in the way. I know you can't see that because I can't see it. I put my extension bar on to give me leverage so that I can tighten this good and tight. Okay, that's turning the engine. So that's good and tight. And now what I have to do is just crank the engine over some more. Turn it over so I can get to the next hole that lines up. And that'll be the third bolt and I'll be done. So I did decide to tighten video the tightening of the last bolt. The reason is so that I don't get to where I'm reviewing the videos and go, did I remember to tighten that last bolt? Here I'll have video proof that the bolt is in fact tightened. Okay, turning the engine, so that's quite a bit of torque on that. And it's got Loctite. So that's it for the flywheel to the torque converter bolts.